Hi everybody, this is Carla, and this time I'm back with a review for episode 22 of season 5 of Haven. The episode is titled A Matter of Time, and it was really freaking good, okay? As it usually happens, I go into the episode thinking, oh, it's starting slow, maybe I won't really like it, maybe it's just one of those, filler episodes where you have to, it's just to move the plot along, but nothing really exciting really happens. And then all of a sudden, it's amazing. I don't know how they're doing it. Seriously, Haven this season is off the hook. I don't have no idea how they're doing this to me, but this was a really great episode. And when I say it started slow, it's because I was already kind of, reticent about this episode because I knew it was going to focus on Haley and the whole thing of her not wanting to give up her powers and stuff. And once again, I kind of got what I thought I would get at the beginning, because it was all about Haley. And even when she was freaking stuck in a metal gate, she was still refusing to do what's right. Are you serious? And it really sucks that she was blaming Duke for it, because I don't think Duke has anything to do with that. She was the one who insisted on using her powers without any control. And okay, I get it. She's a teenager, she's, impulsive and whatever, and she thinks she knows better than everybody. But really, it wasn't Duke's fault. He brought her back to Haven because she could help, right? And okay, if she hadn't come back to Haven, maybe she wouldn't have gotten stuck in that fence, but she would have gotten stuck somewhere else. It's really not Duke's fault at all, I don't think. And even if he was the one who activated her power, he did it because she wanted to, and because she was in trouble. So, how can you, really, how big of a brat is that little girl? I'm sorry, I probably sound like a horrible person, because after all, she got stuck in a gate and died. That's horrifying just to think about. But at the same time, I can't muster up any, sympathy for Haley, because she was just, first she was really annoying, and then she was just bratty, and I don't really care about her at all. I could live with it because she wasn't there for that long, but still. So I'm sorry if there are any Haley fans out there. I'm sorry, but I can't bring myself to like her. So I'm actually really freaking happy that she's dead now, because I don't have to see her again anymore. But I did like, however, the conflict that she brought back, because again, this whole thing with Duke's trouble, it's the never-ending story. Okay, there's always going to be someone he can kill. He can kill in order to make things easier for everybody. And it's always a hard choice. That's what I like, because I really do think that those moments kind of show the best part of Duke Crocker. I think when he makes the choice, he really knows what choices he should make. Even sometimes when Audrey asks him to do it, like she did in this episode, it's still gotta be his choice, and I think he's got a good handle on what choices are good and what choices are bad. And unlike what the episode kind of suggested, I don't think Duke did it because he was, because he thought it was his destiny or something, or because he thought it was the only way out or wherever. I interpreted it, that moment, especially, when he hugs her and then he crushes her against the gate, I thought that was just something he was doing to spare her, in a way. I thought it was, killing someone is never good, but I thought he was just, because can you imagine, at the beginning she said, I thought I would feel more pain. Can you imagine if she was actually feeling that pain? She could have been stuck in there for a long time, because unless she moves, she could have remained there perfectly still for a long time, and eventually it would start to hurt terribly. Come on, she had metal going across her body. That must have been awful for her. So I thought I saw it as an act of mercy in a way, he didn't want her to suffer like that. I mean, he knew she was gonna die, so, and she didn't want to open the thingy, and can you imagine if she had tried to move at that point? Like, I know that Audrey thought it was their only choice. Like, I don't think Audrey was being mean or anything. I thought she truly thought that Haley opening the thingy was her only choice at that point, either that or Duke killing her. But I think Duke probably saw it as, asking too much, because she's freaking dying. She's probably could be in a lot of pain if she tried to open the thingy. So I really saw it as a mercy kill. I thought he maybe believed that he could spare her the pain and just give her a fast death instead of letting her hang in there for, like, God knows how long with metal going through her body. So the way I saw it, I mean, I saw the when he pulled back his hand and he saw the blood, he actually looked kind of surprised, like it was something he wasn't really expecting. I mean, I know he was, because they said it, that's the metal's keeping her from bleeding out, so eventually he knew that there would be blood. But it's like, at the moment that he hugged her, he wasn't thinking about that at all. So when he pulled back and saw the blood, he had that expression on his face, and I really, really liked it, because I think if he did it to spare her, like, the pain and the agony of hanging there for hours until her death, then I can buy it. Like, then I'm, like, really proud of him, because honestly, I mean, one way or the other, they would have opened the thingy, I guess, either with Haley or with Duke, and I think at that point, the more humane thing to do would be to give Haley a swift death, because she wasn't the best girl ever, and I didn't particularly like her, but I wouldn't want somebody to die that way. I mean, it's a terrible way to go, come on. So I was actually really proud of Duke at that moment. I cheered for him, like, out loud. I was like, yes, that's the ticket, Duke, come on. So I really like Duke in this episode. I mean, I know he still feels burdened by his trouble, but I really like where he's gotten to, because this is coming from a dude who not 2 episodes ago was still refusing to come back to Haven, and now it feels like he's grown up so much, and he's finally come to realize that, okay, he's tied to Haven, and he has to be here, and if he has to have a crappy life in order to help Haven, then he will. If he has to take the fall for Haven, he will, because Haven is part of him. And, I mean, again, I kind of hate that Audrey had to ask him, but I like the drama that it brings up. Speaking of drama, on the other side of the thingy, we also had a ton of drama with William, because, this whole thing, they talked a lot, and I'm glad finally Nathan told him, hey, look, Mara was using you, dumbass. It's like, okay, you can't be that stupid, right? I mean, Mara doesn't love anyone, come on, she was just evil, she didn't love anybody. So you would think that William would know that, since he knew her so well, but I guess he still lived in that fantasy world where he thought they loved each other more than anything, and it's kind of refreshing, actually, to see that the dude is the one who's like, yeah, love forever, blah blah blah, and the girl's like, yeah, whatever. I don't need you around, I just want your aether. So I thought that was interesting, and especially if you compare it to, Nathan and Audrey, who would literally give their lives to save the other people, like the other one. So that was, and damn the world. I mean, I don't know that either extreme is all that great, but it's a great just comparison, I guess. So I like that Nathan finally freaking told him about it, and it seems kind of silly, because when Nathan threw the thing against the rock wall, and all of a sudden there was aether, And William tells him, so give me the Aether, I'll give you new trouble, and you'll get us out of here. I thought, yeah, that's too obvious a trick. I mean, come on, don't be an idiot, Nathan. But then, not 5 minutes later, he's giving him the Aether, and I'm like, oh, of course you would, Nathan. Damn it. I mean, he knew it was a trap. I knew he knew it was a trap. That's why he was going to freaking give William the controller. I mean, really, Nathan? That's I don't know. I mean, I didn't like that bit, but I liked that in the end, William actually turned out to be a fairly decent guy. Honestly, I mean, even if it was kind of a, kind of a FU to Mara, it's like, now I'm going to do everything that Mara wouldn't do. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to send you back home. And I'm going to be a great dude. Just because Mara wanted me to be evil. So I thought that was funny. I mean, I never necessarily liked William. I always thought he was, kind of blah. I love Colin Ferguson though, so I was always glad to see him because he's funny and I like that. He's a great actor, so I like seeing Colin Ferguson around, even though he was William and William wasn't that great of a character. But this time around, I like William better actually. So, he's not that bad of a guy. I mean, he can still pull a fast one, Nathan, which is great. And then just turn around and let him go. So I thought that was very interesting, and I like that Nathan gave him the ring, because it goes to show that Nathan doesn't hold grudges. So that's really great, and it was just a nice resolution actually, and we don't have to see William ever again, so that's also great. So yeah, that part of the intergalactic, interdimensional love, polygon, whatever, is gone, so that's great. Meanwhile, the Dave subplot was really freaking interesting. I mean, at the beginning I was again like, why are they discussing these things right in front of Dave? Can't they just go outside? Because the whole point was that Croatoan was listening into their conversations about how they were going to kill Croatoan, so that's the dumbest thing ever, and they kept doing it. So at the beginning I was really pissed off. So, when the shrink died, because Croatoan killed her, I'm like, I saw that coming. Why did you not see that coming? It's like, you were talking about what you were going to do right in front of Dave, so of course he would kill the damn shrink. Are you serious? But when Dave actually went into the Mind Palace, which, by the way, I love it because it made me think of Sherlock, when Dave actually goes to his Mind Palace, that became really interesting, because, I mean, I figured that it would be the Haven Herald, because I'm like, where does Dave ever, feel safer at any point? So I'm like, yeah, that's gotta be the Herald, because that's, his home, kind of. But I really like the way they used the conversation between Croatoan and Dave. He started writing in the typewriter, all by itself, and then through the radio. I thought it was very interesting because it was very Stephen King of them to do that. It felt very Stephen King. So I really like that. Then after, when Dave comes back and has that little emotional conversation with Vince, be sure to come back, and Dave's like, yeah, I just gotta destroy the clocks and whatever. And Vince is like, yeah, you have to come back, that's an order. And Dave's like, sure, I will come back. I'm like, nope, Dave is dying. That's great. I like it though, because I held no illusions that everybody was going to survive by the end of this show. And they've already killed so many people that I'm attached to. And I thought one of the big ones had to die at some point, so I figured it would be one of the Teagues brothers. And, I think Dave was just so tied to this thing that there was just no way of saving him without saving Croatoan in a way. I think he was just too deep into this thing, so I didn't really see any other solution for him. I thought he was gonna die, and he did die, and it was really emotional. Ben's crying at the end really got to me. Like, I mean, they've always been so close, so I thought that was a really well done scene. I like that they brought up Dwight's trouble again, because it hasn't been mentioned in a while, but you know, he's like, if there's a gun in the vicinity and you try to shoot Dave, it's just gonna kill me. So I like that. And I guess now Croatoan is free. But the funny thing is that he's free, or it is free, or whatever. And meanwhile, the trio has the controller and the Aether ball thingy, and they have no idea what to do with it. I thought that was fantastic, because back when Charlotte actually told them what they needed, she said, you need the controller from the void. She never told them how to use it. And that's what Nathan was saying, like, before, like, there was no time for her to explain how to use it, so what the heck do we do now? I would be like, just put the two things together on the table and just kind of stare at them until something happens, but I don't know. Thing is, I don't know, I really loved that last scene as a whole, because as usual, I mean, I'm a Nathan Audrey shipper, so I love them together, but my absolute, like, love is the trio, like, the three of them, not as a threesome, just as friendship. So I thought that was a beautiful scene. It really was. And I love how much faith Nathan has in Duke. And even Audrey at some point, she's like, I'm really sorry I had to ask you to do that, but we really need you here, you know, you're a part of this. So I really like that they all have so much faith in Duke. And even though they're absolutely clueless about what's supposed to happen with those two instruments, they are really, you know, willing to give it a try, just like they've done with everything else that's come their way. And I thought it was really lovely. I mean, I guess some people might find it cheesy, but I really loved it, because those three are the heart of the show, and I love it. And now they have to deal with Croatoan, which I don't know how it's going to be, because he's a freaking cloud. Like, I was expecting him to actually have a shape, or to, I don't know, take over Dave's body or something. But he's a freaking cloud, and I'm having, like, serious, like, Galactus in the first Fantastic Four movie, second Fantastic Four movie, like, flashbacks or something, because when have clouds ever been threatening for serious? So I hope they do something decent with that. I hope he takes some kind of shape. Is it William Shatner? That's what I want to know, because, okay, I know I'm repetitive, and every episode I go, is that William Shatner? Is that it? Is that him? Because I really want to see William Shatner, okay? So I just want to know what's going to happen with that. When is Shatner coming in? I still don't freaking know who that man was who talked to Duke, because guess what? He didn't mention any of that. He just told Audrey that he knew about his curse now, but he didn't say, hey, some random dude just appeared when I was, when my friend was sleeping. Some dude just appeared and told me all of this, and then he was gone. In a snap. In the blink of an eye. You would think if it's something that weird that he would mention it, because that's another player that you're not accounting for. So, I want to know. Don't forget, writers. I want to know who this person was. And if I don't get an answer to that by the time the ending rolls around, I'm gonna be disappointed, okay? Because I'm really loving this season so far, but I need you to explain what that was, okay? That needs to be explained. It's not one of the things where I can just go, oh, whatever, it was just a plot point. No, I want to know. So, yeah. All in all, this episode was actually really great, even though it started off slow, and, I had to wade through a bunch of Haley scenes to get to the actual interesting part. In the end, I actually really liked it. It was interesting to see another side of William. It was really great to see Duke come back to the dilemma that made him leave Haven in the first place. And it was, Dave's death. It's really sad, and I mean, it had to happen, but it's really sad, and of course it's one of the things, because I mean, we've had Dave as one of our main casts since season 1, so it was sad to see him go. But all in all, really emotional episode, a lot more involved than I thought it would be. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty great, and I think Haven is still kind of moving forward with good momentum, which I love, because this season has been really great so far, and we've only got 4 episodes to go, and I don't want it to end, but I just really love what they're doing with the show right now. So I'm sad, but I'm happy at the same time. We'll see how my thought process changes by the time the last episode rolls around, but for now, I think they're doing a great job, and that's for my review. As usual, if you guys want to see more Haven reviews, be sure to check out our website at thegeekypub.com. We have reviews for the previous episodes of Haven Season 5B, so be sure to check that out. And we also have reviews for other TV shows, movies, books, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to visit. And if you guys want to know when we upload a review, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where they go up first. I mean, they're usually up on YouTube before we cross-post them to the website. So if you subscribe, you will receive a notice when we upload a new one. So be sure to do that. And that's about it. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye.